What's up, and welcome back to S'mores, a Campfire Talk. So, as you know, it's your boy, round two, Bentley, and I'm here with the squad. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Jizza JJJ, not the MC today.
Isabel.
Against majority rule, I am Slick Rick.
That is false,
Pretty
but
Ricky.
okay.
Pretty Ricky.
Okay. I'm Lauren, aka L Dog.
It is Killer Kyle back at it again.
Why does everybody sound so dead, bro?
Oh yeah, just a little recap. Last week we did our 10 nostalgic songs. If you haven't listened to it or watched it, please do. If you don't, it's okay. It's okay. We trust you.
It's alright.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
We still love you. It's okay. This week we're talking about sports. So I prepared a few questions to hopefully get the best out of all of us in here.
Oh my god.
First question: what is your favorite and least favorite sport? So I'll go first because I kind of had a template, you could say. Favorite sport? It was kind of tough for me to say. Track is like my favorite sport, I guess, like really at the moment, because that's my biggest goal. But if we're talking just like playing, I could say like dodgeball,
Mm-hmm.
So
Very good answer,
Yeah.
Troy. Very good answer.
like that's like one of the most fun sports I love to play. So like I'm gonna say track just because it's like my life, but honorable mention. Least favorite? I don't really have a least favorite because I just don't like. There's no sport like I hate.
Yeah, it's sort of like favorite to me is like one, doing it, and then two, like watching it. Because of course I love doing track as like my favorite sport to do. But figure skating to me is like so interesting to watch. I was like ballet, like a lot of like that requires a lot of physical like and dance movements to it. I love watching that kind of stuff. So like those kinds of, I don't know if you can qualify them as a sport. I qualify them as a sport.
Yeah.
But those are usually my favorites. And then again, least favorite to play is probably baseball because I suck at it.
Shut up.
I suck. No, like literally, like I enjoy watching it. Like honestly, like to me, it gets a little bit boring at like the sixth inning, but like
I was about to say, I was like, who enjoys watching baseball? No offense. Like, I played softball, and I don't like watching softball.
I like watching baseball.
okay. But like I like playing it is just so like I can't comprehend it at all. It just don't make no sense. So that's my least favorite to play. But to like watch or do anything is honestly probably football. I just get so tired watching football. I can't. I know.
Did not
Hey.
expect
God's gift to the world, bro.
God's
Like,
gift.
okay, here's the background, right? I used to have recruits in college, and so whenever we had recruits, or AKA people that you're trying to get into like the college athlete life, I was a college athlete. Whatchamacallit? Basically, you invite them to like a home game, and whether that's like basketball or football, but it would always be football for some reason. And we spent like 4 hours in the rain, standing up, watching these people play, and I could not stand it. I was just like, I'm so cold, I'm frigid, I want to go home. So maybe it's the trauma that makes it my
Okay.
least favorite to
Yeah,
watch. But I've never like gone out and like looked for it on TV unless it's like the Super Bowl sort of thing, and then like cricket. I don't know what's going on in cricket, so I'll just put that there. But let's move on to a different person.
The question was most favorite, least favorite sport?
Favorite and least.
Okay. I want to say track just because of, the experience around it. And that's the only sport I like consistently was participating in. But it's not, it's not fun most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you run track, like the workouts is a problem. But not in a bad way, but yeah, I don't, and maybe that's also another problem, but like I don't think of it as fun most of the time. I can look back on it in hindsight and be like, oh yeah, that was fun, great memories, but in the moment is the issue. But my least favorite sport is probably freaking curling or something. Like, I hate the fact that you have to brush for a living, like, and be an Olympic athlete. Like, I just can't stand it. It's like, oh my God. Like, whatever, I respect your decision, but why would you want to brush for a living? I don't understand it. Also, something like croquet, which I don't think you can call a sport really. It's just like an old lady garden sport where they,
To me, it's like mallet golf.
Yeah, that's bad.
Mallet golf.
Dead.
Hit it through like that's basically what it looks like.
Yeah.
Hit it through like these gates and stuff.
I'd say my favorite sport. I think I already mentioned it early. Well, kind of hinted at it. It's baseball. Contrary to what Lauren believes, baseball is a great sport. Great to watch. Great to play. You just have a certain mindset. Obviously Lauren doesn't have them.
Oh my God. Shut up.
The rose session came into the podcast because he also mentioned baseball.
Yeah.
But why?
Baseball, anywho, is my favorite sport, Troy. My least favorite is I relate with you. I don't have a least favorite, and I also going against what Kaylee said, curling. I actually would like to do that. And the reason why
you would be the one.
the reason why is because I love to compete. Anything,
But
minute,
your
would be
arms
interesting.
are
if
gonna
it's
get tired.
competitive.
We know.
You would break the brush. You'd break the broom.
Hey, that's what we got
Ricky
extra
has-
brushes for.
No, bro.
Ricky, Lauren and I got this show we need you to watch.
Yeah, so I love to hella compete, like anything. For me, like making something competitive makes it fun. Like it changes like your view on it, so you can like do it.
Yeah.
If it's like bad, if it's
But-
like not so like it's kind of mundane.
But if I had the choice, that
Yeah.
would not be what I would choose to compete with.
Yeah,
Like I'm
and-
using my competitive energy to hold a broom.
And that's that's
Like,
okay. That's okay.
But if you're good at it,
I know, but that's what I'm gonna be thinking about halfway
Yeah.
down the thing when the ball or the whatever it is
Yeah.
like going. I'm gonna be like, I am really doing this
Yeah.
right now.
Hey, and that's okay. I mean that's what like, yeah, that's honestly fine to think that way. That's the way I always try to do something. And like, I remember I actually got in trouble because I was like so competitive one time that I actually somebody actually got hurt and I felt bad. Do you remember?
yeah, I do remember.
You remember? Yeah. Yeah. So I've learned over the years when to harness it, but and let it chill out. But yeah, I'm just naturally competitive. It's just like how I grew up. I grew up to like compete.
So for favorite sports, I would have to go along the same route as Lauren. I love watching figure skating, like gymnastics. When that comes on, I will sit there and watch it for hours, like that. And then like ballet, like that just blows my mind. I don't understand how you do that. Any like big Olympic sport, I guess. For like playing wise, of course track. I mean, I feel like everybody answers here is track because that's what we're all currently doing. But also softball. As much as you'll find out later in this podcast, as much as I shit on softball all the time, I enjoyed playing it a lot. It was just the people I was around that I couldn't do. But playing it is so much fun. Like, I love playing it. Watching is a different story. So I would put softball and baseball as like favorite and also least favorite.
Okay, my turn. My favorite sport is obviously track, and that's like to do. Like, I love track or whatever. But watching is obviously football. I am football fanatic all day. I love football. I will watch football all day. I don't care. Actually, I will not watch the Cardinals, but I will watch football. I love the 49ers. I love Alabama. I love them. I could just watch. I just love it. Just like the hype, bro. The hype when you're with the right people watching football is just unmatched. Anyways, I hate baseball. I'm sorry. I hate baseball with a passion.
Jada, can I see you outside?
I went to a baseball game. I wanted to shoot myself. I was like, this crap is so boring. I was like, who watches this for a living? But I was like, it's okay. Because
Don't
there
touch
are
me.
people.
Don't touch me, Jada.
There were people like genuinely excited, and I was like,
Grant, okay, let me just add this note to it. If you do not know the game, it is really boring.
it is, yeah.
If you have no clue, which do you know?
I
play
knew
baseball?
like a little bit of it. Like I knew I had the gist of
That's
it.
the thing. You can't know a little.
But here's the thing. We entered in a raffle and we had to stay till like it was like a lot of innings. I think how many innings are there?
It was 7 in high school.
No, in pro.
Oh, bro, it was 9.
Yeah, so we stayed until the 7th inning for this stupid raffle, and I was like, bro, the most interesting thing this game has is the dude selling lemonade saying that it's like the grandma made.
And like Ricky, you say like if you don't know the game that it's boring. I know the game, and I'm still bored watching it. Again, I know it's different to play it, but watching, like if I'm just sitting there not moving, watching you do, I'm like, no, I want to do this. I want to be here.
I'm a combination of like Jade, like the right people, like the hype. Like I know what's going on. I know like what the strategy is. That's the thing that fascinates me the most. Like when I know something's executed right or they're doing something right, I get hyped. Like let's go. Like you did that right. And then because it's really like, oh man, it's like it's a really big mind game like the whole time because you're sitting in like anticipation for everything. You know what I mean? Like a ball could hit you or not, or like you're at the batter's box, is it gonna be a strike or not? Like it's all, and you got to wait till this guy winds up all the way. Like it's all like anticipation. That like the absence of action, like anticipation of it is what makes it exciting. Like it could go this way, it could go not.
Anyways, baseball sucks. What's the next question?
Okay, well, next question.
Sucks.
Common rumors / stereotypes you've heard about sports. So
That
Like,
it's boring.
sports.
Like athletes in general or like sports?
both.
Okay.
I would say because, like, for example, Katie says curling's just sweeping. You could say track is just running. Baseball, you're just hitting the ball.
That's the biggest stereotype.
Actually, you hit, throw, and catch.
Oh yeah, but basketball, you're just throwing a ball into a net. Like there's so many things that you
Bro,
can say.
but no, the track is just running one.
like yeah,
I
like,
hear
so
Whenever I
stupid.
hear that
million
football
times.
players can run like the 60-meter faster than like
Track.
track
That's
athletes,
so
are-
annoying,
like,
bro.
you don't understand.
Like,
You
no,
don't
you
understand.
can't.
You don't understand.
They're like, track is really just running down the track. That's all. Like, no, there's so much more to it.
So yeah, you think it's just running, and then you get there, and then you're like, "Gosh dang, I'm slow," and then you start learning how to actually run, and then you're like, "This is too much."
But
You
even
quit.
but even then, like there's pole vault, there's long jump, there's so much else to like track as a whole. Well, that's why there's the field.
That's why in a way I kind of had a problem with what you said, Katie, about curling, because things can be so generalized like that when there's like more of a purpose to it.
I mean, I understand that I know nothing about curling. I'm just saying, looking at it as a person watching it is like that condensed version of just whatever you see when you watch curling is just like, no.
Cause you're like that was like the same vibe I get when I hear people say track is just running, because you're literally just watching people run for the most part, run, jump, and other type of stuff. So I was like, that kind of hit me. Another stereotype that I hear a lot is women's sports are inferior to men's sports.
I mean, they're not.
I would
I
say
just yeah,
like-
it-
Sorry, you can go.
no.
I was gonna say like that's one of the reasons I like track because I feel like that's one of the only sports where that isn't really discussed. Like it just everything blends together. Like track is just track. Like nobody cares if like oh this is a women's track or it's just like kind of like this is track. It's an individual. You run your own time basically.
That's true.
But I feel like there's just different playing styles with women versus men because obviously we're built differently, like biologically.
Yeah.
So yes, women can't necessarily. I don't want to say do a lot. Like we
Yeah.
can't jump like 6 feet. Like we can't grow that high. All that kind of stuff. We can, but we can't. And there's just like we have to adapt to our different. But I don't think that makes it inferior in any way. I just think it's a different way of watching it.
Yeah, like I feel like you have to be in the mindset because, like WNBA, for example, I watch highlights and I watch plays and stuff like that, and yes, it doesn't look as exciting, I guess, to watching LeBron dunk and then watching someone put up a layup. It's like that's two different like it's excitements. I have seen girls like turn up though.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's like the sport. Like what sport you're in. Like for track, I could watch men and women and be equally as interested.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dang, these women moving. Dang, these men moving. And then like gymnastics. Actually, I watch more woman
Like-
gymnastics. Like women's more. I mean, men's is impressing too, but I do like watching women's a lot. Yeah, women's gymnastics is just great. So is men's. But I just love women's.
Anybody else have anything? If you don't, it's okay. It's just
Yeah, I think it's just you just gotta look at the two sports and two genders as two separate entities. they can never be compared because it's just two different things. You know what I mean? And they deserve their own like space to like compare, not gender to gender, but in their own realm, they're competitors to each other.
Yeah.
But like a stereotype for athletes, I feel like there's always like the usual ones, like they're dumb,
That's what I was
or
about to say,
like
yeah.
they don't know how to spend their money, or whatchamacallit. Like for some reason, athletes are loose, aka meaning like they just sleep around with a lot of people once they're famous. It just don't make no sense. I just like that's just a stereotype to anything really. Because if you're a celebrity, you sleep around with everybody. If you're an athlete, like if you have any level of popularity, you're all of a sudden like put into this section.
Yeah, it kind of goes with everything. Yeah, dumb, sleep with people, don't know how to spend your money.
Sounds
The
like a celebrity.
Trifecta.
That's a basic celebrity right there.
That's interesting because I guess I've never had that like connotation of like famous people. I was like, okay, they're just famous because they did this work, and like you know what I mean. So
You built different.
I
Bro.
think it also depends on the celebrity. Like Kim K, for example, you might put more into that category.
Yeah,
than like,
I'd say there's like,
than other
yeah,
people,
for
you know
me,
what I mean?
yeah. So let me rephrase that. Like outliers, like there's a few like I think of, but a majority as a whole, not that much.
Like, and I think more not necessarily us, but like on social media when you tell like LeBron to shut up and dribble, that's more like the mentality I get from seeing that. As in, your job is to dribble the ball, shoot. Your job is to run. Your job is to do this or that. Do your job and shut up. So that's and then another race is a big thing when it comes to stereotypes. And one I read earlier was white people have less athleticism, so they operate more by intelligence, and then black people have more they have less intelligence, so they focus more on athleticism.
Like that's so bad. Like
Oh, that doesn't make sense, but
it's such a backhanded compliment. It's like you're athletic
but-
and stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
You're not athletic, but you're smart.
yeah, but,
yeah,
but,
like,
Yeah.
but you
That's
can work
one
your ass
section where
off.
flipping
You know,
the
you
script does
see-
not make sense.
A blue collar, white collar.
You see a tall black boy walking around.
He can play basketball.
Most people ask, "What sport
Yeah.
do you do?" Like what?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
like the first
Yeah, people
question
ask
out of
me that all the
everybody's
time.
mouth: do you play basketball? It's like no.
Oh yeah, I get that a
He's
lot because
short
I'm
for
tall.
basketball, by the way.
Like, I get
Bentley.
called that a lot. Like I'm like a point guard basketball wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're 6'3", right?
Yeah, and I'll be like in Walmart reaching up for stuff. Ooh, that reach. You play basketball? I don't play basketball, ma'am. Please stop.
Did that happen to you actually?
It's happened before, yes. Multiple times.
Funny, dude.
So it's
Multiple
like, you're
times.
tall. Do you play basketball? No.
Jody, do you get like the volleyball thing? Because I feel like that's like guys is basketball and then girls is mostly volleyball.
No, I mostly get basketball.
basketball.
I mean,
Everybody
yeah,
thinks I
yeah.
play basketball. I'm like,
Because
nope.
back in like middle school, elementary school, when I was considered tall, no, I'm not tall now. I'm 5'3". But back then, when I was tall, compared to everybody else, they were like, I always got the, do you play volleyball? Do you play basketball? You're pretty tall. You should play volleyball. I'm like, no.
New York.
Stop
yeah,
it.
you got pretty tall here.
Yeah, you should play
Hey.
basketball. That's so annoying.
Yeah, I've never gotten any of those. So
'Cause
Nobody's
you're-
ever come
you're
to you and be
tall.
like, you should play volleyball.
That race.
I was like, that might be a race thing.
Yeah,
Also,
it
like,
might be a
very-
race
Oh,
thing.
you white? She not athletic.
yeah,
Somebody
Yo, the
told me-
track. Then everybody said that's that white girl.
Yeah, that white girl
Oh, yeah,
moving
you
fast.
were the
White girl,
fast
that
white
fast white
girl.
girl. You know what I mean? That's already like putting her.
You know,
like, yeah.
They
Yeah,
see her.
She's
in
not
her
supposed to be
heat.
fast.
What? Didn't people think you were doping
Not
up
me.
because you got fast and you were on the podium and you were the only white girl on the podium?
Yeah.
People were like, is she doping?
Yeah,
like,
see, isn't
no.
that
a lot
crazy?
of people.
No.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that happened. Like, and it's just kind of funny how y'all have all been asked, like, do you play a sport? But not once in my life have I ever been asked, like, out of like randomly, like, hey, do you play a sport? You should play a sport. It was more like we talked for a little bit. It's like, hey, what do you play any sports? What kind of sports do you play? And it was like after a bunch of other questions, sort of thing, instead of being like the hot
leading-
topic. Yeah.
leading question.
Yeah, so like you're like on the other side of the spectrum where they don't expect you to be good, and then you turn up and you're like, oh, she's got to be doping. She's too good.
It's
Oh,
like-
like,
It's
the
too good to be
weirdest-
true.
like sports is like the weirdest realm where it's like everybody is like gets I don't know
Stereotype.
yeah
It's
stereotype
stereotype,
and
yeah.
then
Big
just
time.
like rapped on all the time for no
Yeah.
reason, but it's
You
a
can't
place
jump,
where
you
like
white.
you're supposed to be like at your best. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like oh like sport like it's weird to me because like people market sports like sport making people market sports as you can do anything, do the like a motivational video, and then all of a sudden you get into sports like you're too short, you're too this, you're too that.
Yeah, you're
Wrong
not good
color,
enough,
by the
pretty
way.
much.
You're
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
Like
I was,
it's just
I was
like
watching
whoa.
on a talk show, a sports talk show, and they were comparing like who is like a better at position, and like they automatically had a bias towards a certain race.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Like I was just like, wait a second, but his stats are better.
Yeah.
But they're like, you know what? But I feel on a good day
Yeah.
he can win 1-on-1. Like I'm like, shit.
Which
There's
is like
literally like
What?
you look like you play this sport, or you don't look like you play a sport. Like what?
it's like what are you talking?
Yeah, I have a friend.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he'd be good at. He doesn't necessarily look like he'd be good at basketball, but he has sauce like crossing up, and he doesn't like he never played in high school or whatever.
Talking about Xerxes?
Yeah, handles are good and stuff. He has a shot. Like if he actually played,
Yeah,
He
but
has
he's
talent.
good, man. He's good.
like
This
he
man
probably-
never played. Are you sure you never played basketball? Like went to a
Like-
camp or something? He's like,
He
no.
played like middle school, I guess, but like yeah, he never played high school, and he would actually be good if he played.
Yeah, and that's like from softball. I feel because track is the whole like I feel like it comes down to the whole racial thing. Like you think like white people are slower than everybody else and blah blah blah. But for softball, for that like, I never really noticed any like, I guess bias towards certain people, because if you look like people of all kinds of body shapes are there, all kinds of colors. So like when I was in softball, there wasn't really too much of that. And then you get to track or you get to other sports and you're kind of like, whoa, like this is.
Actually, Ricky, I want to ask you a question. Since you are a person of color on the baseball team, like,
Mm.
how do you feel? Because, like, that's a predominantly white sport,
Yeah.
like a very white sport.
You know, it's funny you say that because there's a lot of non-white people that play it. There's a majority of like Latin American players that play the sport now
Okay.
versus white people. So there's a statistic. 350 baseball players in the major leagues, 135 are from Dominican Republic. That's one country.
Dang.
Yeah. That's not counting all the other Latin American
They brought
countries.
the whole country.
Literally, half the
like-
country's playing baseball.
That's
So-
like I feel like with, like softball and baseball, there isn't too much of like, I guess like a bias towards a certain race. I feel like it's pretty mixed together, at least from my experience.
Yeah, I think. See, I've seen both sides. I've seen people say it's a very equal sport. Anybody, no matter how big you are, like everybody can compete and contribute. And then I've heard the comparisons, like what Kaylee said. Oh, you're not fast enough. You're too short and stuff like that. Like I've heard both sides, because so for the first part, there's a picture taken, that was like pretty viral on the internet for like a little while. There's like a guy named his name is Adam Dunn. He's 6'7". He's standing on second base next to the second baseman named Jose Altuve. And Jose Altuve is 5'4". And that picture went viral because it shows like the difference in stature. Like this guy standing in the same field as this guy, and they're both all-stars. Like they
Yeah.
both are like held to the same prestige. And then, but I've also heard of like, somebody looking at somebody without knowing him or seeing them play. They're just like, yeah, you're too short. You're not gonna be able to play, or something like that.
Yeah, it's just weird to
So
me.
it's
'cause
interesting.
Yeah, I feel like it's like that just in general. Because to me, it seems like if you look at it, like just watch TV, you see that everybody plays sports, and yet everybody says you can't do this because of something like a stereotype. It's so weird.
Like Nate Robinson, 5'9", playing basketball.
He's saucy sometimes, man.
Like be dunking and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
he
you gotta
dunking.
bounce.
He block people too.
Yeah. So, like that type of thing is always kind of weird to.
And
to
they always say
categorize.
like, oh, he's just different. He just built different. But majority they can't do it.
I'll be honest, I hate that idea
Yeah, and it's like,
of like an athlete's just he's just different.
yeah, he's an anomaly. He's
Yeah.
not it's not common for
Like,
him to that to
yeah.
happen.
It just like undermines the effort
Yeah,
and like
it's like-
the skill that's required to even be at that level in the first place.
Mental for him
But
to
like
get there.
not only that, to me like hearing that in track or whatever, it's like you saying that means that you're not even putting yourself in a position to catch up to me because I'm built different. Like you make me outside of like the realm. So now like this I'm not even a part of the standard. I'm just above it. So where now you don't even have a goal to reach.
Exactly. Like, yeah.
All right, so next question. So just to tell everybody about our past, what sports have you played? Are you going first?
Oh, no, it's clearing my throat. No, I'm just kidding. I'll go. I guess I really haven't I don't know. I wouldn't consider it a sport. Actually, depends on what kind, but I didn't do like the actual sport. I just cheered on the sideline. So, but like competitive cheer, I call that a sport. But like cheering for like high school or whatever, no. But I did that. But then my real sport was just track. Like that's the only like real sport that I've done.
Yeah, I played soccer a lot whenever I was a little kid, and then I just transitioned into track. But that's about it. Oh, and I did like competitive cheerleading as a very young child. I have really embarrassing pictures. It's pretty bad. But yeah, cheer, soccer, track.
I was softball and track.
So your question is like, what sport have we played?
Like league wise.
Oh, okay. I played a lot of sports. League wise, baseball, and that's it. I love to come out and just play a pickup game of anything, but league organized, just baseball.
I don't know. I took like swimming classes as like a young child. I think I won like, or I got a certificate or something for like a ping pong tournament. I don't know what. That was fun. Ping pong is fun. But
the way your story went, I thought you went swimming, and when you're done with swimming, they gave you a certificate for ping pong. Like, like not related at all.
That would be actually funny. And I also took like archery classes when I was younger, and those are fun. I was good at those. I like that a lot. But yeah, track was like the consistent, the real deal, the main thing.
All right, and well, growing up, it's weird to say you played bowling. I bowled. I bowled a little bit. After that, I played football. During football, there was a season where I did try baseball. And then after kind of football and baseball, freshman year I started track, and I've been running track ever since. After talking about what we have played, what have you learned from sports?
A lot.
Or like, I guess, could you choose like a greatest lesson?
Oh, honestly, no. They're just all great.
I guess for me, which has kind of like hit me recently, not recently, but in the past months, is like just relax. That's one thing. I'm always tense, like always like like really really intense, like physically and mentally. That sometimes it hinders me and it causes me issues performing or like hurting myself. So relaxing through the movements as well as relaxing mentally inside is what's the biggest lesson for me that I've learned. And then like I take that into life, like just if something goes wrong, just relax, like accept it, and then like try to figure out a solution to handle it and then move on. So just relax. That's the biggest thing for me, I'd say.
I think for me it'd probably be like probably the commitment, like how to commit to something and like stay committed, and then it just teaches you a whole bunch of little lessons. And also, big one, like how to be mentally strong, because Lord Jesus, sports, they be making me want to just die. But then you just got to push through that, and you got to keep going, and like how to like finish through, because like there's so many workouts where I was like, I have full capability to just grab my stuff and walk out.
Oh, yes.
But why? But I stay here. And and I say why? I just stay here. But I mean, it definitely taught me a lot about like your like how to be mentally strong, how to stay committed to something, and it's just great. Sports are great.
Yeah, didn't you like miss a couple of practices like early on, like when you started grit, and you like texted coach to like get the workouts, and you still did them? You know what I mean?
I would text coach like every day, be like workout. He'd send me them, and I'll just do it in my front yard.
Freaking dope, bro. That's commitment. And like, I guess for me, I would say conscious. Like, I'm now more conscious of like what I'm capable of and what I've done. Because in track, I would mess up. For example, I would struggle finishing my 400s, and then coach would talk about how many workouts I've done. That's hard, and like, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to like beat that feat or whatever, run this time. This like it should be easy to me, based on everything else that he's seen me do. So like, I guess the biggest thing is being more mindful of what I have done and what I'm capable of.
Yeah, I would say that's where mine is, because of course, yeah, like the commitment and mental strength, but also as something I'm still learning, I would say more self-worth. which is kind of funny because sports originally took my self-worth, but sports have also given it back to me. It's a weird thing, but I would put that as like, I guess, the main one. Like, I guess, yeah, the mental strength.
I think the greatest lesson it's taught me is it's made me aware that sports is just life in condensed form.
Yeah.
It's just like everything that I do in sport, it's just the filter through which I see the world at this point. Like, it shows you what you are, basically. It's like everything I learn from sports I can use in my life, is what I've found. I don't think I would be as self-aware or just conscious of, anything in life if I hadn't done sports.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what the greatest gift it is to me, because it's given me quite a bit of them. But I guess like either like the heart or the spirit, because if you're like either jogging on the side of the road or like golfing or whatever, you're doing it because you like want to do it, sort of thing. Like you enjoy doing this, and so your heart's put into it. And I think like having that realm where like you're together with people who feel the same way is like always like a nice, like you build your resilience and your strength together. So yeah.
All right, so this next question is kind of in like pairing up with the last one, but what has sports given you? So not lesson wise, but like let's say you're in a tough spot, sports give you a way out, it gave you a coping mechanism. Like what has sports given you?
Sports, man. Sports definitely gave me a way out. It was a coping. It was all of the above. It was whenever I went to track, I had those like 2 hours were like mine. They were like my time. They're like, I'm away. I am free. I did not want to go home. I was like, I could stay at the track. Like I could even just sleep after a hard workout. I will sleep on the track. I love that track. But track has given me so much. Like just it's like something to like hold on to when you're in hard times. Like at least you have somewhere to go. Like track. You can for me you can like when you're running, all the bad emotions for me just go away. It depends on the mood I'm in. But most of the time during the rep, I'm not in a bad mood. But after the rep, when I'm feeling the pain, I'll be like, this is bananas. This is bananas. But after every workout, like when you have like that feeling of accomplishment and you're like, I just did that. Period. Now I'm gonna go get me some breve.
Breve.
But yeah, it was definitely a way out for me for years. Like whenever something would go on, I would literally just go outside and run. That's why I had all those miles, because coach would just send me miles and I would just go and run them. And that was like my time to myself where I could be out of a bad emotion or bad place. And it's given me a lot of strength too, because boy, if I was not running track, would I be a hot mess? I don't know where I'd be. Oh Lord, probably be a cheerleader.
Oh God.
The worst.
So when I first came to America, I was like 2 years behind, as far as like the level I was supposed to be at in my age group of like literacy and stuff like that. So I had to always like catch up, and I always felt like, I don't know, I always felt like I didn't fit in that much because I was always like one step behind or like separate group because I didn't know as much, and like I didn't know this like country that well, So when I first started playing baseball, especially when I first playing on my travel team, they gave me a place to, like, they gave me, I guess, a sense of home, like, for the first time. And I think that's why I like baseball a lot, too, is because, like, of how, like, they took me in when I first came here and, like, just gave me a place to, like, feel like a part of a group and not be on my own. And, like, and I didn't understand, like, why they did that. I'm just like, I'm just a dude. Like, you guys don't know me. Like, but, like, they treated me like I was their brother, you know what I mean? And I didn't know him at all. Like, I didn't do anything to him, but they always, like, treated me very well. And I just didn't understand that. And, like, And then I was just like, man, and I loved playing baseball because I was always with them so much. And like I just stuck with them through like middle school, played baseball with them, then high school. And like when they left, they were all a year ahead of me. I felt different. Like playing baseball was a little bit different because I think the reason why is because they weren't there. I was like they were like my rock in a way. Like the guys when I'm a travel team, we all grew up together and played baseball in high school together. And when they were gone, it was like something was missing. So baseball gave me, especially those guys, playing with those guys, gave me like a sense of belonging to a place. So I'd say that's what baseball gave me the most.
Oh, I forgot to mention track gave me friendship. Woo!
I was gonna say, like, it's just a sense of connection.
Yeah.
I think that's all sports is like the feeling of connection, whether that's like with nature or with a person or with the ground. It just brings you closer to other people, whether that's like the fans or the people beside you or your teammate or your parents or like whoever, like a little kid. It doesn't matter. You can always relate to somebody with sports.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I PR'd right next to you. We just had a connection going on.
We had a connection.
We were vibing, and then we PR'd. But like, yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, so physically, sports gave me a scholarship. I guess I want to say a body, but like a summer body, like a healthy appearance, and like a better way of life. But like mentally, it's just given me connection, strength, resilience, the whole package. I don't think I could name anything, whether it's courage or kindness or anything that I couldn't relate back that track didn't give me at all.
And I guess for me, track kind of gave me purpose. Because before, like, going through my other sports and everything, I never really cared. Like, that's why I didn't really make it far in football. Because, yeah, like, doing the drills and stuff, I could do the drills right. I can catch the ball, blah, blah, blah. But my head was never, like, in the game. Especially knowing Coach, because Coach played football. He'll talk about the mentality and stuff. And I was nowhere near that. I was always in my own world. Like, like, if a play went wrong, I didn't really care. Like, it sounds messed up, but, like, I was like, oh, my bad. And Coach would be mad, like. So, like, coming into track and everything, it was something I was good at. I always wanted to be fast and everything. And even coming into track, I didn't understand that I was slow. Like, like coming in, I still was that kid. Then I lost, and I realized that there was more to, like, I can do more. I can be more. So that's when I made the choice to, take it seriously and do this journey. It's given me like more purpose. It's opened my eyes more to what's around me, what I'm able to do, what I can be.
That's how. Or did you have to say something?
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I feel like sports pretty much gave me not necessarily my like whole personality, but without sports, I don't know what person I would be, because I started playing travel ball for softball at such a young age for a 10 and under team, and even before then I played city league, like t-ball all the way through until then. And so the people I was around and the environment of the sport, I feel like shaped me as a person. Like the Isabel that doesn't play sports and didn't interact with any of the people I had interactions with through those sports, I don't know who I would be, pretty much. Like, I feel like pretty much everything in my life goes back to sports in some kind of way. Like, it pretty much gave me like everything I am as a person, I would say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think I agree with everybody pretty much. It's like everything, like the purpose, the connection, the friendship, all of it started because I decided to play a sport. Like, sports give me everything that I have, and all of, like, when I said before that basically sports, I use it basically as an arena for learning lessons in life. Like, everything I learn in sports I can use in my life, and maybe it doesn't translate for a little bit, but I can always, like, the experiences and the memories I have from that are always going to be there, and I can always use those to help me in my life. So sports has given me like everything that I know, given my friends, people I want to be with forever. Just like everything.
All right, so next question. In a perfect world, what would sports look like? As in, like, I would ask you to identify problems that you've seen and how could they possibly be better? Or and in addition to that, what would you just like to see more in sports? Such as if we're doing track, more co-ed relays, things like that.
So I think it kind of goes back to the stereotypes that we talked about, where it's like those are problems in sports. Like all of that crap is just, why does it exist? It just needs to go. I personally, I would probably, in general, I would think I'd like to see more freedom and creativity in sports. And what I mean by that is like, there's like smaller examples where I watch something like gymnastics or I'm like in a track meet. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like I notice this superiority complex with like sport officials. Like I don't like that. Whenever I watch sports, it's like I don't really understand. Like as like a stupid example, when gymnastics, like in gymnastics, his belly's getting mad. In gymnastics, okay, when they have to salute the judges, I don't understand that because I feel like it leads to something bigger to me. It's just like, why am I saluting you? I'm the athlete. Like, I'm the one doing the sport. Like, that kind of stuff. And it's not necessarily has to be that. That might not be a problem, but I feel like it leads to other things in other sports. Like that kind of mentality where it's like, I must show respect to this person who's going to not be like, who could, potentially like use your like power to I don't know, make my score different or something like that. Like I don't trust those kind of people, which is why I like track, because there's no judgment, it's just your time. Just like it's your time and that's it. Like you can't say that anybody else was responsible for like curbing the game or the rules or anything. That's why I really like track, because I see a lot in a lot of other sports. I think there's too many rules that they put on it now. Like football, it's like, what is even going on? You guys change the rule book every freaking year for no reason. Like I don't know. It's just a lot of, whenever I watch stuff and they talk about plays, it's just like, and this rule and then that rule. It's like, why does that exist then? I don't understand. Like that's the kind of stuff that I personally just I don't get. It's like, why?
Okay.
Like arbitrary rules, stuff like that. I don't like.
I mean, yeah, I guess in more of a football way, I do disagree with you on certain things. I haven't really seen like unnecessary plays or like rules, I guess you could say.
Mm.
Like basketball, I would say definitely for like unnecessary kind of like technicals or whatever. A big thing I was thinking of is like, let's say the track world, for example. I feel like it's not respected enough. As in, you don't see it on TV as much. And track meets do go long, so like I guess I can understand why you wouldn't see it as much, but you don't even see commercials really about it that often unless it's the Olympics.
You can put baseball on TV. You can put track on
There,
TV.
watch it.
And even like as athletes ourselves, like track, you pretty much have to use every muscle in your body. I guess it feels like that sounds weird because it sounds like I'm saying you don't for like other sports. But a lot of times, like kids will come in from like football or something like that, and they'll have weak hips.
Mhm.
They'll be all tight in their hamstrings or something like that, and they come to track to get better. But like us track athletes, we're already kind of like track to me seems like the core
Yeah,
of like strength.
I see track as like a fundamental sport. Like
Yeah.
if you can do track, you can do a lot of other things.
Yeah, because you have to learn acceleration, coordination, a bunch of other things. I feel like people tend to use track as to get in shape, which isn't a problem if that's like what you want to do, but they kind of downplay it as in, yeah, I'll just run track and like it's nothing,
Like it's
you know.
easy.
I'll just run track.
But like once you get to an elite level, everything becomes technical. Like your Dorsey, this step, that step. If your heel collapses, that can ruin your whole race. Like there's so many things that can go into, track, and I guess people don't respect it, which could go for more sports also.
Yeah, I guess like that little technical part is like what I'd have to say about baseball is hitting. Nobody knows how hard it is to hit unless you actually try hitting. Like, especially even if the ball's not moving. Like I put a ball in a tee and you try to hit the ball like right. That part I'm like, it's like, yeah, they know. But yeah, what was it? Yeah, I do agree with you because before I went into track, I never had a negative view on it, but I remember one time my teammates definitely did, or at least a few of them, and they were looking at it. I was like, why are they running? They only run like 100 meters and they walk all the way back. Why are they walking so slow? It's like, they run one run and then they walk back really slowly. And I was just like, that is weird. Why do they do that? And like, I wasn't coming from a place of like, oh, they should be working harder, but it was, more like, why does it do that? But they were coming, I could tell like they had like a negative view on it. And they're just coming from a place of ignorance. Like they just didn't know what track is. They're baseball players. They play baseball. They don't run track, so. And like, yeah, I mean, this whole year I've learned so much. Like, there's quite a few things.
People like I guess oversimplify it so much.
Yeah, and I think you do that anytime you are ignorant about anything. You simplify it so you can understand it.
Until you're in it.
Until you actually do it, where you
Yeah.
understand it better.
That's always happens. Like I remember the football players were bagging on track, and then track season came and they had to run track. Oh, opinions changed. They were like, I hate this. It's so hard. I was like, oh, is it? Is it?
And like I felt like now for me it's kind of hard for me to shit on a sport, knowing how like hard a grind is.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what it is, it's like that's a mental game, physical game. No matter what, like it's its own grind.
It's like, hey, you go do that. Like, stop talking. You do that. What do you do what that guy's doing? It's like you can't do any. Like you can't even come close. So stop talking.
Yeah, I'll never judge someone for playing a sport except baseball.
Let's go hitting.
My only thing that I would change, and I can only speak for my sport because I have little to no idea about like how like the insider like looks of other sports look like, is just like I don't know, it's like response time, I guess, like with the officials. It's just kind of sometimes off. It really depends on that official that day, like when the gun's gonna get shot, sort of thing. If you're gonna get rushed in the blocks, like there is a schedule, but it is always varying because of certain things happening, and that's just because things happen. Somebody false starts. Now we have to go back. The timer's not working. Now we have to go back. But in a perfect world, I'd love it if like a lot of the kinks, that just like the very minute things that make it like a little bit, I don't want to do this, like sort of just simmer out. And I also understand what you said about like the judging thing, and like whenever you have a sport that's based on judges or like your score is dependent on somebody else, it feels like you take away your freedom. But at the same time, it's sort of, if we're trying to be competitive in that manner, creativity is just creativity. You can create. But if we're trying to have a winner, then how is it decided? Whenever it's not based on time or based on hitting or based on that, it's usually based on their technical skill, how they land, and then, yes, the creative side. I just don't know how that would look in a perfect world as well. Like, I don't know the solution to that problem.
Well, I feel like in a way it's like need the judges because they're like the unbiased opinion watching the technical side. And I feel like if you were to try to do it, let's say like a robot, they might miss the creative side.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kind of need the human element too, to just need the right balance, make sure you have the right judges, maybe be more relaxed on some of the rules. And then another problem I would say is the coaching for like younger ages coming up. Because, for example, like when I played football and everything, we did normal drills and stuff like that, but like technique and things like that was never really talked about. When I played baseball, they didn't really talk to me about technique. So like, how do you develop a kid coming up as an athlete and then they want to be something, and it's so much harder for them when they like get to like a higher level? I feel like coaching should be taken more seriously kind of then, like not to where it's like harsh, but to where you can develop a kid where it's like, okay, let's get stronger in this area, so when you get to a higher level, you'll have that strength, so where they can develop you more, and then as you get better, you're a good athlete.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned it, but a couple while ago I went to go help a baseball team coach, And I was watching him, and I was watching the coach play, and like he would say some stuff. I'm like, that's wrong. You're not saying what's right. Like, and I'd go over and talk to him. I don't want to step on his toes and like put him on blast in front of his whole team. Like, hey, coach, do you know what you just said? And he's like, oh, you know what, my bad. I'll fix that and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, cool. and yeah, just like I don't know. I don't want to dog on the kids, I guess, because like they're little kids. You know what I mean? You don't expect.
Yeah, it's never like the kids' fault.
Yeah,
Usually,
it's just
in
how
that kind of setting.
Yeah, so I never want to blame the kids, but it's like you have a chance to like, I guess, plant a seed of the right kind into them, where they flourishes and it prospers into something good, versus like bad, like I guess like fundamentals, like good fundamentals versus bad later on in life.
Yeah. Like versus just kids, like just kids just playing, like hey,
yeah, just let them fuck around, like
like
yeah.
it's like no, stop,
like no.
But you have kids. This is a chance to like show them the right way, I guess, because like you can teach them something, and not come from a place like, oh, you're gonna do it my way, like, but in a way, it's like coming from a place of trying to help them, building up that foundation of like being resilient, making connections, like stuff like that.
Because a lot of times I see like parents will like encourage you when you have like those big dreams of, I want to be a professional sport athlete or whatever. And then once you start to get to the college level and start to be pro, it's starting to become like you need to stop dreaming, get a job. But I feel like if you were set up correctly, it would be easier to see the vision. And with track, for example, I don't really see like, personally, I don't see like many track leagues for like younger unless you get to like middle school or if you're in your own like club. So for that, like technique isn't really taught, how to run. And so like, yeah, it's hard to, because you never judge the kid, but you might call a kid trash because he wasn't coached right. So that's where I like, whether it's like a parent doing it, like at least give more energy, give more like heart to what you're doing.
Yeah.
For my, I guess, perfect world, it's weird because I've experienced both, I guess, like extremes of the spectrum. And when I was in softball, it was a very toxic environment. People were talking behind people's backs, not even just the players, but the parents would get into it. Coaches were picking favorites. It would be more hard on certain people, certain players over other players. Like, it was a mess. And looking back on it, I was like, wow, I was in that for so long, and I thought it was okay. I thought that was normal. And then I got to track, and look, like 3 people I've met through track I'm living with, we're all very close friends. Like, we've all become a family. And it's weird because I came from one where I thought they were my friends. I thought we were a family. To find out, oh no, they're talking crap behind your back. Oh, they think that you're getting special treatment. Like, why are you playing? Because I was always the younger person on the team. Like, again, I quit travel ball the winter of my freshman year. So think about freshman year, so I'm like 14. Before that, I was playing on an 18 and under team. So 18, 17-year-olds, and we were playing colleges. So I've always played, even when I was younger, in City League. I was 7, I think, playing on a 10 and under group. So I've always played above my age level, and people took that as, oh, she thinks she's better than everybody else. Oh, I don't know, all this dumb stuff. Mind you, I'm just here trying to have a good time. I thought we were all friends. I thought we were family. And then I come to find out, oh, they're talking behind your back. They're like, why are you getting more playing time? And then they just like try to destroy you to build themselves up. So it was not a fun environment to be in. But then I thought that was all sports. I thought that was normal. And then I got here and I was like, oh, so I can have fun and have real friends in the same sport? Wow.
Have friends?
Yeah, like it was such a big shock. Again, because I didn't find out until way later that I was pretty much getting like, not like abused, but it wasn't a good environment. Like, from being that young in that, growing up in it, I shouldn't have been there. There are a lot of people that probably shouldn't have been in it. But it's just, I guess in my perfect world, like, you just would have nice people on the teams. Like, just don't be an asshole to your teammates. Like, I guess it'd be my thing. Kind of like on the same wave as like the coaches, like you can make coaching fun. It's like same thing there. Like, we can play together and still have fun, but still be competitive for positions without having to put the other person down.
And also like teammates, like the kind of the self-pity kind of thing. I just hate that, where, oh man, I'm not that fast. Oh, I can't do this drill. I hate hearing that type of stuff.
Oh,
like, just try. Like,
it's like we're all in sports.
and half the time they're not that bad when they say it. I'm like, I'm watching you, and you're doing the drill, and then you're complaining about how you can't do the drill.
You're hype.
I know, and then you're there and you're like, yeah, we've all been here for years. Like, it's okay. Like, and then even coach will tell them, it's like, oh yeah, all of them look like you. It's like, oh, they looked worse than you doing this. Like, the amount of times this man has made fun of us to newer people, and even I'll tell them, like, with the stupid jump rope thing, I'm like, it took me like 2 years to be able to go in a straight line with this jump rope.
You can't
quit complaining.
Oh, my first day at Grit. My first week at Grit. Oh my gosh. Like, I couldn't step over the ankle. Like, I don't know what the heck is going on. I was like, what's going on here?
And I think that kind of goes with what you said as well, where it's like you expect people to judge you or whatever, like that kind of environment. Because, like, I mean, at least for us and at least for our track team, like, I don't care if you suck, but if you try it, like, duh, that's what everybody has to do. But the self-pity thing where it's like, I can't do it, it's just like, none of us could do it. Like, stop talking to me. Coach said I was the worst runner he's ever seen. Like, stop talking to me.
Yeah, I think also too here we have a really good support system, because I think it does come back to that, is you're afraid of being judged, like, oh, I look stupid, I don't know how to do it, but they do. With us, like, coach will teach us something, and there have been plenty of times where I'm like, I'm doing this wrong, I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I'm like, Kaylee, do you understand the drill? Or I'm like, hey, like, what do you do to help you with this running? And then, like, kind of like just like to help each other out. Like, no one, like, yeah, you can look stupid during the drill, or just be like, hey, like, like, try this, see if this helps. Or is like, maybe change the wording, maybe that'll help the concept click better.
Like, I might laugh, but I won't judge.
Yeah, like, we're not judging. We might be like, oh wow, you almost fell on your face right there, but
Like, oh.
yeah, I think it just comes down to support systems. It's like we have a better support system than the other environments, I feel like means I'm sure a ton of other people have come from.
All right, so next question. Considering we won't be athletes forever, where do you see yourself afterwards? Or where would like sports pretty much set you up for afterwards?
Dead.
She 84
mean,
still on track.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
I know, but
Actually, I mean,
Like, if I'm not doing sports, I'm dead.
no, and I think that is a big problem. Is sort of like after sports, like a lot of people struggle like transitioning into like a different part of their life.
Yeah.
But the group knows. I got plans that I want to accomplish during my like athletic career as well. I feel like they'll mesh pretty well together. But was your question like what you're doing like after? Like, I feel like sports is always going to be with me.
I think when I see it more like when you're done being an athlete. So like, let's say I go pro and I retire at like 37. What am I doing when I like retire from, track? I'll still be like, training, I guess, or whatever, but what's like the business side of what I'm doing? Like, what's like, what other stuff or what can sports help me with? So like me going first, I'm thinking going to like the pro athlete standpoint, that's going to set me up with, a following. People will follow me. I can maybe help other businesses out, shouting them out. I can help communities out, something I've kind of wanted to do. So if it's like behind, I can help fund or just try to help like change communities, help school systems, stuff like that. Business wise, there's a lot to learn, and sometimes this is hard because since you don't know what you don't know, it's hard for me to be like, well, I want to do this, but I don't know what that is. And like, I want to get into stocks, maybe have like my own brand or like make Grit a bigger brand. So stuff like that. I feel like sports could help me, in that realm. And I can help with coaching. We'll have like our workshops or whatever. So we'll be able to help other kids develop. We'll be able to travel more. We'll be able to reach more people, that type of thing. As we like become smarter and we can talk to people more about like our struggles and help them through that. That's more kind of what I would like to get into.
I guess with sports, I've learned a lot about like if we want to go with like what else I want to do, I want to like create stories for people to enjoy. Sports is a story altogether. Everybody has their own individual way of how they've gone and grown. And so maybe being able to portray those things, maybe not necessarily like like show it in the sports, but take the same essence of it and put it into something else, I feel like could be like enjoyable to people. And then yeah, like what you said, like just lift others up with what we've been able to do, sort of thing.
Yeah. I'd say I really like the idea of coaching, like passing on knowledge, and like not only just the sport, but just life knowledge to help them along their way, like the giving back part along so with our journey. So that's always been kind of cool. I guess, and for me, it's more of the coaching is maybe more of a smaller scale versus like going to major league or a college, where it's more prestige, like being more local in the area, like help the small area out more.
With as long as of a life as I've had in sports, like I've been in sports for longer of my life than I've been out of sports. I always saw myself in a coaching position. Initially, when I was in softball, I figured, oh, I would go, I'd play softball in college, do with my life what I'm doing. And then eventually I would make my way back to coaching, kind of like the passing on of the knowledge. And now that I'm here in Track with Grit, that has changed more to, doesn't necessarily just teaching, track and running, but just, again, teaching life in general, helping people. So when I look at my future, yeah, like I have the stuff on my side that I want to do for myself and goals that I have. But my ultimate goal, the main thing I see myself doing is Grit is a bigger facility, or it's a bigger company, and I'm coaching to help pass on what we've learned. Is pretty much where I've seen myself after I stopped being an athlete.
Yeah, I guess after I'm finished being the great athlete I am, no, I'm just kidding.
You say that.
I'm just joking.
Like bat an eye at it. Just the way you said it.
Okay, after being an athlete, I definitely want to be able to like help other people and like pass on the knowledge like everybody else of being an athlete and how to better themselves as an athlete. But obviously, when I become the best athlete I am capable to be. And then obviously there's like Isabel said, the personal goals and stuff. But I feel like the big goals is obviously just helping other people. If we're talking like the athletic side, like I don't want athletics to disappear from my life after I'm done being an athlete. Like it's gone. That's it. You're done.
Don't even watch it.
Yeah, don't watch it. Don't coach it. Don't nothing. So like coaching would definitely be pretty cool. But I don't. Maybe an assistant coach because I'm not sure if I could deal with.
All right.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Can we get more into the personal goals? Do you mind?
You want more personal? Okay, fine. Well, obviously okay, like everybody.
But you can start.
Okay, since he started with me, bro. As on mine, I want to be able to like create like videos that just tell a story. Like I just like making videos. I like collaging videos together. I like cutting it up. I like all of it. And I just want to see where that can go. And I also want to learn how to take videos too because that seems fun and I don't know, I'm interested in it. So that's going to be a lot of learning process.
My personal goals. I would like to improve more on writing. I would like to be a published author, whether it be solo books or our group collaboration books that we've done. And that would be my main one for like, I guess, personal goals. For side ones, yeah, I say makeup. I like doing makeup on people.
Yeah, so my personal goal is to become a professional baseball player, and then after I retire from baseball, become a coach in baseball. Like after a couple of years, like probably professional coaching, I probably went down to a smaller scale, like a high school eventually. So I'm like more local at that level, and then also on the side, not just coaching, but like I'd like to help out with Grid, like grow that into a bigger company, bigger facility and stuff like that. Help out with track too, because I really like track. So yeah, help with the coaching there too. So coaching with baseball and track, so stuff like that.
I think, bro, if Grant had like a clothing brand, bro, it would be so tight.
I don't know. I think I have a more fluid vision of what I want to do with my life. Because as far as professional goes for track, I would say I don't want to run professionally, but that's not what I mean. Because I want to run as fast as I can run, but I don't care if that's in a necessarily professional setting. I guess like I don't care if people see me run that fast. I guess in a general way, that's what I mean. So I don't ever see an after to it. It's just like I feel like I'm always going to be running, always going to be doing something athletic. But as far as my personal goals go, I just love making things. Like I'm interested, everything that everybody talks about, like their personal goals, I am also interested in doing that. Like I just love to explore and learn new things with the focal point of like improving myself so I can help other people. Like everything that I know is interesting to me because I'll just filter all of it through that one thing, like which would be helping other people, like and helping them see like the individual themselves. I think is something I really want to do. Like I want to show people through what I can do and what I love to do and make that they can create their own life as well.
Okay, so I guess mine sounded more like, general since it's talking about helping people, but of course, yes, I want to be a pro track athlete. Afterwards, a lot of kind of what I meant with helping communities is, I guess, more Black communities. Like it's in a way of like that's my people, and I hear a lot of like negative things about Black people, as in like I'm always the exception. Oh, you're good though. You're cool though. Like I hate that type of thing. So in a way of like being able to educate, so then we're not looked the same. We're not looked at as like ignorant, things like that. Being able to educate others, so they understand different cultures more, and they're more open to understand different cultures. And I want to eliminate the hate, pretty much. Like we'll see, Black people and white people, I guess you could say, argue about this and that. Oh, this isn't real. This is real. Blah 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 blah. I feel like I guess you could say even the playing field, it doesn't really matter. Like if all schools are looked at the same, it doesn't really matter where you go. It doesn't really matter where you live if all neighborhoods are better. I want things to catch up. I want things to be more equal so we can have less conversation about it. All right, guys. Well, that was the last question. You made it through. Congratulations. So that's S'mores Podcast for you. It's your boy Troy with the gang. I hope y'all enjoyed this. If y'all have any, questions, comments, concerns, go ahead, let us know. We do have an Instagram. You can hit us up. We love people for the most part.
At the Six S'mores.
Yeah, at the Six S'mores. It's gonna be in the description. We got you. And yeah, that's us. See y'all later.
Bye, Jizzle J. Maybe your MC one day. I love you. Oh my God. Follow me on Instagram at John A.